Hello, what's good? Yeah, welcome to the first episode of our series, the Kotlin Geek, and yeah, I'll be helping you learn Kotlin from the very basic to the most advanced concept. So we have two objectives in this episode. The first one is to set up our environment, and the second is to run our first ever hello world in Kotlin. For us to be able to write our script, our code in Kotlin, we need an IDE. An IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and it makes your work very easy. It makes you to use tools in an easy way without having to set up a lot of things yourself. You know. So, and we'll be using the IntelliJ IDEA software, which is developed by JetBrains, and yeah, we'll be using that to develop. So currently we are in the JetBrains website to download our IDE. So we have two versions. We have the ultimate version, which is paid for, and we have the free version, which is the community version. For our tutorial for this episode, for this series, we'll be using the community version. So all you have to do is to select your operating system version. If you are using Windows, select Windows and download. If you are using the Mac OS, select Mac OS and download. If you're using Linux, for me, yeah, we download this. Yeah. So now that we have our ID installed, the first thing we're going to do is to start up the IDE. So I'm going to go into my application tray and try to run the software. Yeah, now we have our ID opened. We are welcomed with the project creation window. And the first thing we're going to do is to create a new project basically. So we're going to be creating our Hello World project. And yeah, this is a bit lot of information, and I'm going to try to break everything down bit by bit. Yeah, so first of all, I want you to know that the IntelliJ IDEA ID can be used for several kind of projects, not just for Kotlin based project alone. You can use it for Java, for Maven and Gradle based project. You can decide to use it for Android development because still it's still a major component of the Android Studio. What is our on this ID is to use it for Kotlin development. So you just have to click on Kotlin here. And yeah, so we have a lot of information here to fill in. We have the name, which is the name of the project, and we are going to give it hello world. I mean, yeah, yeah, hello world, and yeah, the project location is just where you want to store the file or the folder of the project in on your storage. You can store it anywhere on your drive. You can store it on your desktop. You can store it in the document folder anywhere you wish to. So I'm going to leave it to the default folder which was created when I installed the IDE. Yeah, so now here we got to this other section that talks about the project template, which yeah, for us we are working with the console application, meaning we just want to see our results logged out in the console. And you know what I mean? So we are going to select this, not this, the console application, and then it also asks us which build system we're going to be using. Yeah, the most efficient build system is always the Gradle, and I think this is a pop plugin for the Gradle for to allow Kotlin to be to be converted from to be compiled and converted from the from the source code into the bytecode to be able to run on the Java virtual machine. Yeah. So also we need a Java development kit. We need a JDK to be able to translate and interpret whatsoever is in the source code on the JVM, the Java Virtual Machine. So for me, I prefer using the Azure JDK version. You can decide to install your own JDK by clicking on download, and you have a list of JDK coming up. And but for me, I'm going to stick to the Azure 17, which I believe you should stick to too. Yeah. So yeah, we have different versions of vendors. We have the Azure Zulu, which is the one I'm using. We have from IBM, we have from Oracle, OpenJDK. But please, for the sake of this tutorial, stick to Azure Zulu JDK. Yeah. So I'll be canceling this, and I think we are done. This is all we need to fill in this section. I'll click on the next button. So once we click on the next button, we have to leave it this way, Java 1.8. No, yeah. Then the test framework here, JUnit 5, and I think that is all. I'll finish. I will allow the project to run. So this could take a couple of time, some minutes to get done, and just have to wait a little. So I'll be right back. All right, so we have our project environment ready. So the first thing is to talk about the environment itself, understand what exists in the IDE before we start writing our first code. So the first thing I'm going to do is to clean up this what environment to make it empty. So the first thing we're going to talk about is talk about the environment. Yeah. So we have three sections on this IDE. This is the project window. This is the editor section. This is where we write our codes, the blah 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 we need to write, and this is where the output of our program is logged. So I call this the output window, where you see the issues with your project, you see the exact output of your project, and you see things that you're installing and dependencies and all. Get it? Yeah, this is the menu window for me. Yeah, yeah, there are several menus to go through, and well, for now, basically, we are not going to talk much about all this. As we progress, we are going to learn about this IDE, because the IDE is not the main topic, but you have to know how to maneuver your way around the IDE. But we are going to take everything step by step. So let's go. Yeah, so in the project window, we have third sections or third folders. We have the lower folder, which is our folder. We have the external library, which contains several libraries that make up the project, the application, and this crashes and console contains plugins and all that needs to make this program run. So what we are concerned about mostly is the lower folder. There are a lot of files, and there are some files and folders here, and yeah, these two, the grade and the ID, are cage files generated when this project was building earlier. And the Gradle is a build system for Java, so, and what we're going to is the SRC, the source files, and yeah, our main, this is where our Kotlin file is going to be. So when you click on the Kotlin, we have our main.kotlin file, which is the one opened right here. Yeah, so with that being said, yeah, let's start developing our Kotlin application. So we're going to be writing our first hello world. So the first thing we're going to do is to, don't bother about what we do now. You might not understand it, but the first thing is just to ensure that your application is running. Yeah. So first thing is to do is to write function a main function main. This look a little bit small, so I think the best thing to do is to increase the font size of our editor. So I'm going to close this down for now. I'm going to reduce this. So we have to increase the size so it's very visible. So you don't strain your eyes. So the first thing to do is to go to the file and go to settings. So yeah, we have several, options to to configure our editor or our IDE. So once you get to the editor, you open it and go to fonts. So I think font of 20 is okay. I think this is okay. So I say yeah. So yeah, this is the main function. This is the entry point to every Kotlin application. There is going to be one main entry point for a Kotlin application. So we say function main, and then we print. I say hello world. Okay, so let's run the application and see if it runs. So we have our application building right here. Yeah, this is our hello world here running, it's showing now. Yeah, and that's it. We've been able to set up and run our first hello world application. So yeah, in the next tutorial, in the next episode, we'll be talking about Kotlin, why you need to use Kotlin, and start learning Kotlin. Yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Have a great time.